Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeri Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Chaitanyam Sarvagam Sarvam Sarvabhuta Guhashayam Yat Sarva Vishayatitam Tasmai Sarva Vide Namaha. Drishtis prishtis shrutir ghratihi matir vijñatireva cha shaktayo nyascha bhidyante chidrupatvepi padhivihi apayodbhutihi navihi Nityam Deepyandra Viryatha Sarvadruk Sarvagashuddha Sarvam Janati Sarvada. Katham Ukta Lakshano Guru Ukta Lakshanam Shishyam. Guru, whose lakshanas, the virtues are described, and Shishya, whose virtues also are described, and ideal Guru and ideal Shishya are there a combination. Samyajnayana Sadyah Samsara Sagaram Tarayet. How will this Guru make the Shishya cross the ocean of samsara? Sadyah, right away. By Shravana alone, the Uttama Shishya will be able to cross the samsara by Shravanam. Hidapekshayam prathamam padartha vivekam karayitva. So how the Guru proceeds to help Shishya cross the ocean of ignorance? Prathamam, meaning by the teaching of the unfolding of the Mahavakya Tattvamasi. Prasamam padartha vivekam karayitva, makes the Shishya do the padartha viveka. Karayitva, meaning that the unfoldment of the Guru, the teacher, enables the Shishya in his own mind to deliberate upon the meaning of the Vakya, and that is how the Shishya in his own mind does the padartha viveka. What is Tvam-pada? What is Tat-pada? Because both these concepts of the self as the Ishvara are mixed up with what is not self, what is not Ishvara. In case of Tvam Pada, the I, Upadhi is mixed up with that, and therefore Upahita, the self is known along with the superimposition Upadhi. Ishvara is known with the superimposition of Maya. So both are known by me. And that knowledge is a problem, that creates a problem. Because that is false knowledge. We say, Swami, what is wrong with knowing Ishvara with Maya? But at least create separation that I am Alpajna, Ishvara Sarvajna, I am Alpavyapi, Ishvara Sarvavyapi. So this creates a distance, division with Ishvara, and creates in me a sense of limitedness. The Padartha. So, meaning that one has to address one's own notions or conclusion, that's all it is. Ignorance manifests in our life in the form of various conclusions, opinions, perceptions, complexes, and they have to be addressed. So this is what the teacher enables the disciple to do, address his own conclusions or notions about the self, about the world, about Ishvara, about the relationship among these. Vakyartha Jnanopadesha. It is by Vakyartha Jnanopadesha. The Upadesha or instruction about Vakyartha, Mahavakyartha Tattvamasi. So what the teacher wants to teach is the meaning of the Vakya Tattvamasi. For that, what is Tvam, what is Tat, and then what is Asi? Idhaviparitya Sankshevada Padartha Vivekamaha. So Sankshevada, in brief, the Padartha Viveka. What is Tat Patvam Padartha? What is Tat Padartha? So first starts with the Tvam Padartha. What is the true meaning of Tvam, or the self, or I? Drishti, Sprushti, Shruti, Grati, Mati, Vijnati, Evacha. But Atma is consciousness, self-effulgent, therefore constantly reveals itself. So the way the self is known is the self reflected in the mind. In the mind, various vrittis or cognitions keep taking place. When I am perceiving through eyes and drishti, the seeing takes place. So touching takes place. So thus there is cognition of seeing, touching, tasting, smelling. Thus, depending upon the vyavahara in the mind, constantly one cognition after that arises. And therefore, I take myself with drashta, sprashta, shrota, grata, manta, vijnata. This is my conclusion about myself. So I draw conclusion about myself from what I see. What I see is the vrittis or cognitions of hearing, seeing, thinking, etc. And since consciousness is thought to be one with them, therefore I conclude that I am the seer, toucher, taster, smeller, hearer, thinker, knower. So that is my present understanding of Tvampada of myself. Each one of these notions creates a sense of smallness, limitedness, division basically. A seer is divided from the seen. A seer is divided from other seers. So each one of these perceptions or notions about myself causes a sense of separateness, a sense of smallness, sense of isolation, samsara. Therefore, it is this complexer conclusion that are addressed. Are you really different? The self appears different in drishti, shruti, mati, vijnati. But then, upadibhihi shakteh bhidyante. The drashta, shrota, manta, vijnata, each one appears different from the other, is not because the self is different, but then the upadi, the costume is different. तत्तद्वृत्त्यं च परित्यागेन सर्ववृत्ति साक्षितया अनुगत प्रकाश स्वभावः. So how has one to deliberate upon oneself? Atma itya upasita. You upasita, meditate, know yourself as Atma. The one that pervades the drashta, shrota, manta, tattad vrityam se parityagena. The vrityam se parityaga. In drashta, shrota, drashti, shruti, mati, where it looks like drashti is different, shruti is different, mati is different. That difference because the vrityam parityagena, recognizing that is incidental. And what is essential, constant, changeless is the consciousness. And what is the nature of that consciousness? Sarvritti sakshitaya anugata prakashat svabhavati. The sakshi that is reflected in each of the vritti and therefore from the vritti may you withdraw your attention, recognize the sakshi which is changeless. That's how may you recognize the true nature of yourself. How come the consciousness which is changeless by nature appears to be different? Apayod bhuta hinabhi nityam deepyan ravidyatha. Sun also illumines the whole Brahmanda, the whole creation. Ekaheva avigato vartate. Sun is one, changeless, illumining all the differences in the creation. Swarashmibhihi, by the various rays of oneself. The sun illumines the whole Brahmanda Deepyan and Prakashan Ekaheva Abhigato Vartate. Sun obtains as one changeless light. Atma api apayat bhuti hina abhiyeva surabhuta chit shakti. So Atma also like the rays, Shakti means like the rays of one's own self, rays of consciousness. Just as the sun with its rays, which are devoid of the growth and decay, illumines everything, so also the self, the so-called rays of consciousness. Each vritti looks like a ray of consciousness. So drishti, shruti, mati, vijnati looks like each one is different. And thereby it is compared to the ray of consciousness. As though consciousness, the power to divide itself and appear differently. So chit shakti bhi tattad vritti upadi bhedat bhinnabhi. So drishti looks like different from shruti. Shruti is different from mati. Not because the consciousness associated with them is different, it is upadi. The various vrittis are those which create an appearance of varieties and division in consciousness. Just as various color substances create the appearance of different colors in a crystal. Sarvada sarvaduk samanyena sarvam pashyanna. So consciousness illumines samanyena in general. and in particular. Sarvadruk is there as well as Sarvagaha, Sarvagatah. Sarvadrushya adhisthanatvena sar avyabhichare. Drushya is vibhichari, keeps changing. When Drushti comes, the Shruti goes, Shruti comes, then Mati goes, Mati comes, Vijnati goes, each one replaces or displaces other. But none of them displaces the consciousness which is inherent in all of them. In what way is consciousness inherent in them, pervading them? Not inherent, meaning that focused in the vritti is adhisthana of the vritti. Sarvadrushya adhisthanatvena saravyabhichari. The consciousness obtained where the drishya is, then it may become vyabhichari. If it appears to be there, what is adhishthanam? The very self appears to be the drashta, shrota, drishti, shruti. Therefore, from the drashta, shrota, manta, vijnata, atma, adhisthana, all of these upon which these attributes are superimposed, avyabhichari, unchanging, non-negatable, shuddha, nirvikara. Therefore, in spite of the changes appearing in the self, like drashta, shrota, manta, vijnata, what it is, the adhisthana of all of them, and therefore avyabhichari, which inheres in all of them, same time nirvikar, changeless. Shuddha nirvikar hai the yojana. The self is ever pure, ever changeless. Yadi evam ukta lakshana atma, if as you say atma is shuddha nirvikara, is one, pure, changeless, adhishthanam, substratum, meaning that which is untouched by, unaffected by anything. Adhishthanam is that which is unaffected by adhyaropa. Meaning drashta, shrota, manta, vijnata, which I take myself to be right now. The true self that I am is unaffected by them. Even when the crystal appears to be red, doesn't become red also, Atma doesn't become drashta, shrota. It's ever free. Yadi eva ukta lakshana atma, nitya shuddha, nitya buddha, nitya mukta. Katham tasya samsara labdhrita. How does it become upalabdha? How does it gain samsara? How does it become samsari? So, does it become samsari? Paricheda pratibhasascha. So, how does it become samsari? And how does he appear to be limited paricheda? So, that question arises. Therefore, the answer is given in the next verse. Anya drushti iti. Anya drushti sharirastha tavan matro hyavidyaya jalendvadivamabhisto taddharma cha vibhavyate. So, two characteristics of Jivatma are described. Sharirastha, one who obtains in the body. Anya drushti, anatma drushti, taking anya to be oneself. Tavan matru avidya. Therefore, avidya, because of avidya or ignorance or aviveka. Avidya creates aviveka, the inability to separate the two. Therefore, tavan matra. So, Atma is taken to be tavan sharira matra. Atma, that as though obtains in the body, and therefore looks himself to be as big as the body, confined to the body. Jalendu adi upama bihitu. Upama is given here, the simile is given, Jalendu, water, Indu means moon. The moon appearing in water. Appearing. And therefore, there are many moons if there are many containers of water. The moon is shaking, the water is shaking, etc. Tad dharma cha vibhavyate. How moon appears as possessed of tad dharma, jala dharma, of the dharma of the water. Not that moon becomes many, not the moon starts shaking. Vibhavyate is thought to be many and thought to be shaking. So Atma is thought to be many, thought to be restless, thought to be shaking. Not that it becomes many. So samsara is an appearance in Atma, not a reality of Atma. So tikas avidyaya sharirastha. Sharirastha being within the body, there is no within body. Avidya, because of ignorance. What is ignorance? Identifying with the body, therefore I think that I am within the body, confined to the body. So sharira means what? Sthula sukshma shariyohe upalabhimanatvat. Because of ignorance, the Atma, the self, is thought to be confined to the gross and subtle bodies. And within the gross body, within the subtle body. Tatra vartamanaha. Therefore, the self, I, as though obtains within the gross and subtle bodies. Tavan matraha, as big, as small, as insignificant as these bodies. Shariram yavat tavan matram iti manyamanaha. Shariram yavat, as big as the body is. What is the limit of the body? Boundary of the body? So where am I? Within the body. How big I am? The boundary of the body. I do not exist outside the boundary of the body, therefore I think I am confined to the body. Iti manyamana. In short, ignorance brings about thus the identification of gross and subtle bodies. And because of identification, Atma thinks I am as big or as much as the body. By body is meant gross and subtle bodies. Anya drishti deha bhakhyebhya avyavritatma drishti. Therefore, there is no Atma drishti. His notion of self is withdrawn from everything outside the body. The notion of I is confined to the body, therefore I am not anywhere outside this. So I look upon everything outside the body as Anya. Thus the division of Atma and Anatma are created in my mind. When Atma is thought to be confined to this boundary of the gross and subtle body, then everything outside that is called Anatma, is Anya. So thus this idea of Anya, Anatma, division is created because of taking myself to be confined to the body. So by anything outside the body is different from me, I am different from that. Tad gata dharmaihi atmana dhanavatva drushti api sanna. And all the dharmas that belong to the body think that these are my dharma, not when I am confined to the body. But whatever is dharma of the gross and subtle body also because sattva, rajas, tamas are in subtle body. And then man, woman, short, tall in the gross body. Tattva dharmaihi atmana dhanavatva drushti api. First, anya drushti. But outside the body is different. And then while I am in the body, I assume all the dharmas of the body to be my dharma. Parichinna samsarivacha avabhasate iti. Not that it has become parichinna, limited, circumscribed, limited to this body. Samsariva, suffering from a sense of limitedness, smallness, division. Samsariva. Avabhasate ityartha. Samsara upalabdhrita. How does Atma become samsari? Answer is samsarya avabhasate. So Vedanta explains why do we suffer from a sense of smallness? Why do we suffer from a sense of division, dividedness, separateness? And how many complexes are created because of this identification? If I am as big as this body, then you are different from me as well as you are that. So there is comparison going on all the time. And comparison creates conclusion, I am small, I am big, inferior, superior. Separate from you, superior to you, inferior to you. That's samsara. Thus Atma appears as though a samsari has not become a samsari. Edadeva drishtantena spashtayati. So this is Vedanta's prakriya of explaining the sense of smallness. That avidya, ignorance, brings about the vikshepa or tadatma or identification. Therefore there is adhyasa, superimposition of the dharma attributes of anatma and vice versa. And that is how the perception about myself, conclusion about myself, complexes of myself about myself, this is the source of what I feel about myself. Why do I feel about myself the way I feel? This is the way. So this is a way of explaining. Why does crystal think that I am red and yellow and blue? So say there is this upadhi, some colored cloth is there which makes you appear like that. So not that you become red, you appear as red. Because red is different from yellow and that is different from blue and whatever. It's tremendous complexes. Then there is a multitude of complexes, endless things. So psychologists, therapists try to help us by developing comfort with the complex. They can't remove the complex. But developing comfort, I guess, that's what one can do. If they can. Etadeva drishtantena spashtayati. This complexes or perception of myself is explained by drishtanta. Jalendu adi upamavihi yatha chandradihi. So Jalendu, then like the Surya, moon and water and sun and water, reflecting media, etc. N number of examples can be there. Because moon, Chandra is what is mentioned in the Upanishad also, and also Brahma Sutra, therefore is taken as an example. Yatha chandradihi jale pratibimbitaha. Chandra, etc., reflected in water. Jalopadi bhedat bhedavaniva. The water appears as many depending upon the container. The water appears to be confined to a container. Therefore, water is many. Therefore, the moons are many. Jala kampadina kampadimaniva. And because the water is shaking, the moon thinks. Now don't, as I said earlier, this moon that thinks about himself like this. That I am many and I am shaking and I am restless, I am unsteady, I am limited. Avivikari bhavyate. Therefore, these complexes are created on the moon, which is one, ever bright, undivided, changeless. तथा एताभिः उपमाभिः तद्धर्मा इत्यादि उक्तार्थम. Similarly also तद्धर्मा च विभाव्यते जलेन्दु उपमाभिः तु तद्धर्मा च विभाव्यते. Just as the moon appears to be possessed of the dharma of the water, so also Atma appears to be possessed with dharma of the upadhi. Therefore, upadhi is like the reflecting medium. So, mind is looked upon as the reflecting medium. It is nature of mind to reflect consciousness, wherever it is, subtle body to reflect consciousness, wherever it is. Through that, the gross body becomes enlivened. The gross body does not directly reflect consciousness. But then, because subtle body enlivens the body, therefore, the body, so deha chetam agar, the deha also gains chetanata or sentient consciousness. Next one, tadevam upadi paravarsham antarena atmani veda samsara anupalambhat. Veda and samsara in atma cannot be arrived at, cannot be thought of without the Veda or the divisions obtaining upadhi. Here the individual gross and subtle body is upadhi. Veda. So multiplicity is upadhi. So Atma thought to be multiple. Limitedness upadhi, Atma thought to be limited. Upadhi paramarsham antarena. Without the paramarsha, without the standpoint of upadhi. So all these conclusions about myself is because of looking at myself from the standpoint of upadhi, judging myself from the standpoint of upadhi. I have the freedom not to judge myself. So upadhi paramarsham antarena atmani veda samsara anupalambhat. If I do not judge myself based on the upadhi, standpoint of upadhi, if the actor does not judge himself based on the costume, then the actors are many, is beggar also, king also, minister also, etc., because costumes change. As a beggar, he thinks I am extremely inferior, the king is I am superior, and all these complexes also arise. And that is how his poor fellow is suffering. Upadhi paramarsamantarena. They are all standpoints based on different costumes. Without that, these complexes could not have arisen in the actor. If the actor did not judge himself based on his costume, that I am a beggar, I am a king, superior, inferior, all these would not have arisen. Meaning that the actor has the freedom to not judge himself based on the costume, to look at himself directly. Veda samsarade Vedasya anupalambhat, samsarasya anupalambhat. The Veda, the division, samsara, the limitedness, this would not have been had Atma not been judged based on the upadhi. Upadhina. So therefore now let us understand why these conclusions about the self arise. So now what is upadhi? Upadhinam cha atmana bahihi swatantrena sattayam pramana abhavat. The upadhi does not have an existence other than Atma. The costume is because the actor is, the costume has no existence independent of the actor. So also gross and subtle bodies that have no existence independent of Atma. They derive their existence, satta, sfurti from Atma. So Upadhi is not separate from Atma, that's the whole idea. Because the body, etc., gain their existence and their activity also from Atma. So it is not an independent entity. Swatantena sattayam pramana abhava. Nobody can prove that body is separate from Atma. Or the beggar or costume is separate from the actor. Not the other way around. Actor is separate from the beggar. Beggar is not separate from actor. So Upadhi cannot be separate from the Upahita. Avidyamayatve sati is there only as long as ignorance is there, so long the Upadhi is thought to be separate from me, independent of me, limiting me. I mean, even though I may appear to be a limited entity in a mirror, I don't judge myself that way because I know that it doesn't have separate existence, doesn't have reality. About the reality of reflection, I am very clear, it is not real. Therefore, I do not judge myself based on how the reflection appears. For I realize that the gross and subtle bodies are like mirrors. And I, who appears to be limited and different and divided, is an appearance, not a reality, then there is no problem. Reflection is not a problem. Taking reflection to be a self is a problem. Let anything appear what it is. It is not understanding what it is a problem. Aviveka is a problem. Nitya Shuddha Paripurneva Chidatma iti. So Nitya Shuddha Paripurneva Chidatma, thus Avantara Vakya. The secondary statements enable me Nitya Shuddha Buddha Muktoham. So this is that is a Vakya that reveals the nature of Atma. So by those statements which reveal the nature of Atma, that's called Avantara Vakya. The statement that reveals the identity of Atma and Brahma is Mahavakya. The statement that only reveals Atma or only reveals Brahma is Avantara Vakya. Like Satyam, Jnanavantam, Brahma, they would call it Avantara Vakya. Our Swami would call it Mahavakya. But traditionally, Satyam, Jnanavantam, Brahma is thought to be Avantara Vakya. Then Nitya Shuddha Buddhoham will also be Avantara Vakya. You know, it is true that when you analyze what Shuddha Buddha is, it will turn out to be Brahman. But otherwise the Vakya only describes I. That way it's called Avantara Vakya. So, Nitya Shuddha Paripurneva Chidatma iti Avantara Vakya Avadharitaha. So, by the Vakya that enables me to do Viveka between Atma and Anatma, as said earlier, I realize that, so as the earlier Vakya says, Avvivichari Shuddha Nirvikara iti yojana Apaya Udbhuti Hinavihi Nityam Dipyan Raviryatha. So that I am Nirvikara, Nitya, Shuddha, that I realize by the Viveka of the Atma and Anatma. So the Vikara that I think is in me is due to the Upadhi, not inherently me. Inherently, Nitya Shuddhoham, Paripurnoham, Eva Chidatmaham, iti Avantara Avadharitaha. So this knowledge I have now about myself. Atma eva Satya Jnana Lakshanam Brahma iti. Next then, the teacher says Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. And that is Atma Tattvamasi, Atma eva Satya Jnana Lakshanam Brahma. So there is another Avantara Vakya. Satyam Jnanamantam Brahma is the nature of Brahma. And that I am Tattvamasi, that you are iti Mahavakyana Acharyat Avagata Atma Tattva Mumukshu. Therefore, Mumukshu is already Avagatam Atma Tattva Vienasa, has become already one who has known the nature of the Atma. Now what remains to be done? avasthatra atmasya saradrishyatvat, that all the drishya is including avasthatra, the waking, dream, deep sleep, includes all the drishya. Tadapohena, all I need to do is to give up apohena, give up identification with them. Tat sakshitaya, tat adhishthanataya cha. I am sakshi and I am adhishthanam, adhisthana sakshi. Adhishthanataya sakshi. Because sakshi has the same degree of reality as sakshi. Normally, a witness has the same degree of reality as what is witnessed as no. I am adhishthanam. What is witnessed is mithya. I am satyam. Tat sakshitaya, tad adhishthanataya cha avyabhichari chidekarasam brahmatma iti. That's what I am is Brahma. Avyabhichari, unchanging, non-negatable, chidekarasam, pure consciousness, Brahman, that's what I am. It is swanubhavam apadayan muchyate. So when all these things happen, avantarvakya, tvam-pada, tat-pada, then mahavakya, doing as a witness of drishya, adhishthanam, therefore ever free, avyabhichari chidekarasam brahmatma ahamasmi. Is swanubhavam apadayan, that anubhava, that aparoksha jnanam. So the teacher makes the disciple attain. Uchyate is abhipretya anusandhana prakaramaha. Muchyate. That's how the disciple is released. Iti abhipretya. This is how so how does the teacher make the disciple cross the samsara? There is a question. Katham ukta lakshano guru ukta lakshishyam samyak nasadya samsara sagaram tarayet. It's a process. How the guru enables the shishya to cross the ocean of samsara. It abhipretya anusandhana prakaramaha. How should I think about myself? Anusandhanam. I am the anusandhanam, constant thinking or conclusion about myself is going on. How should I be concluding? How should I be perceiving myself? That prakaram is being told here. So the next verse is Drishtva bhākyam nimilyātha smritva tat pravihāya ca athonmilyātmano drishtihi brahma prapnotyanadvagah. Athonmi means atha unmilya. Drishtva bāhyam. First of all, seeing what is outside of you, this is a description of waking state. Nimilya, then closing your eyes to that. So closing the eyes to what is drishtam, seen, waking, that is smritva. Then remembering what it is that you saw. After closing the eyes, remembering what you saw when your eyes were open. It's called smriti or dream. Tat pravihāya ca. Then discarding that also, giving up that smriti also, meaning reaching deep sleep state. So unmilya, then wake up. Sleeping to the world, wake up to your true drishti. So how to sleep to the world? First waking, then dream, then deep sleep. From there also you wake unmilya. Means what? Open your eyes. Unmilam. So there was chakshurun what is it? Chakshurun militam yena. Unmilitam. One who opened the eyes. So having reached the deep sleep, meaning having given up, not sleeping, identification, gross, subtle, causal, everything. then see your true nature. Atmano drishtim. So now opening your eyes with reference to yourself. Brahma prapnoti, then they recognize himself as Brahma. Anadvagaha. Brahma prapnoti, attains Brahman. By what? So pathlessly. There is no path of attaining Brahman, because he is Brahman. So in one verse, the whole thing is described. Avasthatraya viveka is described. So Bhahyam, Tika says Jagaritam, this is called waking. Panchīkrita, Panchamābhūta, Tat Karyātmakam, Samasti Vyashtirupam, Sarvam Vishayajatam Drishtva. The waking state, Drishta means experience. Vishayajatam, all these objects, which are what? Panchīkrita, the gross objects is what we experience. So with organs of perception, we experience the sthula or gross objects which are panchīkrita, panchamābhūta, tat karyātmakam. When the five elements have undergone the process of grossification, and this universe which is a product of the gross five elements. Samasti vyashtirupam, both individual and the cosmic. Sarvam vishayajatam drishtva, this is waking experience. So by Manduke Karika Prakriya, Vyashti, Samashti both are included. Drishtva, having seen. Drashtu, Drushya, Anvaya Vyatirikabhyam. Karika Anvaya Vyatirikabhyam cha alochya. So the Drushta means alochya. The waking experience is, may you analyze your waking experience. You understand your waking experience. Drashtu, Drushya, Anvaya Vyatirikabhyam. That waking experience involves Drashta and Drushya. All these Panchīkrita, Panchamābhūta, the whole universe created from the gross elements, the individual and cosmic universe, is Drishyam. Drashtu, Drushya, Anvaya Vyatirikabhyam. The Drishyam keeps on changing, the Drashta is changeless. Karyakarana Anvaya Vyatirikabhyam cha. If you accept the Drishti Srushti, then the Drashta is Karanam, Srushti is Karyam, that way. So either the Druk Drishya Viveka or the Karyakarana Viveka, where Drashta becomes Karanam of Drishya, because the Drishti Srushti gets created as the Drishti takes place. Alochya. And they were withdrawing the identity, giving the reality given to the Drishya. Because it is incidental, Anvaya Vyatirikabhyam. The Drishya is there, Drashta is there. Is Anvaya of Drashta and Drishya, Vyatireka of Drishya in Drashta. And so Drashta is unchanging, Drishya is changing, Drashta is real, Drishya is unreal. Therefore, recognizing Drishya as mithya, and thus giving up identification with that, giving up reality to that. So thus settle account with the gross world of the waking. Atha nimilya, closing your eyes, drishyam tatsaram drashtramatratvena. You close your eyes with what is drishyam, what is seen. So what remains is drashta now. Close your eyes to drishya, recognizing that it is only projection, it is mithya, and therefore stop giving reality, so it is no more there. Therefore, what is by the Drushti Srushti Vada, the Drushya is none other than Drashta alone projects as Drishyam. Tassaram Drashtutvamat Drashtrumatra Matrena Matratvam. All this Drishya is nothing but Drashta, because Drishya is nothing but projection of Drashta, or Drashta himself appearing as Drishya. So you withdraw your attention on Drishya, what remains is Drashta. Karyam Saram Karanabhuta Tanmatratvam Vilapya. This is Karyam Jagat, the Drasha is Karanam. How? Drushti Srushti, by Prakriya. Meaning that you close your eyes completely towards Drishyam, what is projected, and focus eyes only on the Drashta, because that alone is real. Atha anantaram smrutva. So this is what we do every day anyway. We close your eyes to the gross world. But that we do by ignorance. Here this one does by understand knowledge. That he gives up identification with the Drishya, giving reality Drishya, and that is how he can withdraw his attention from Drishya by recognizing it as Mithya. So this is done, what happens by default is done consciously by this aspirant. Atha anantaram smrutva jagdrushta ragadrushta vasanakayam swapnadarsham smruti tam smrutva. Then all the waking world now is reduced to smruti or to swapna. Vishva Vaishvanara Sahitam Sthulupadim Tad Vasanamaya Linge Sukshbhuta Sayide Pravilapya. The whole gross world, which is the product of the grossified five elements, resolving that into their upadanam, which is five subtle elements. So Karana Karya Prakriya. Sthula is Karya, Sukshma is Karanam here. Two Prakriya, that is Drishya, Drashta, Drishya, and then Karya Karana. As far as Drishya is concerned, Karya Karana Prakriya is applied. That gross creation of waking is Karyam, and subtle creation of dream is Karanam. So Pravilapya Vasanamam Swapnamatrameva Tadit Anusandhaya. This gross creation is nothing but the vasana, the samskaras, which are the cause of the gross creation. The gross object is created from the thought. Therefore, there is nothing other than thought, nothing other than memory. Thus, the gross is seen to be none other than the subtle, and that's how the reduction of karya into karam takes place. It's anusandhana. In the ornament, see the gold. That is how the ornament is reduced to gold. And therefore, even when you see this form, recognize that form is incidental, mithya, and therefore what it is gold. That's how the ornament is resolved or reduced to gold. Then see the gold is nothing but earth. That is how then Karya-Karana Prakriya continues. And ultimately it is Adhyaropa Adhisthana. Finally, it all reduces to Adhisthana. Vasana Swapnamatrameva Tadit Anusandhaya. This is nothing but Vasana, nothing but the subtle elements of the subtle creation. Tadapi Linga Shariram Vasanamayam. That's Linga Sharira, which is cause of the Sthula Sharira or Sthula world, Vasanamayam. Pravihaya, now further resolve that this Sukshma also is from the Avyakrita, from the causal, from the unmanifest. Vasana Sahitasya Manah Pranendriya Sangadasyapi. So now this Sukshma Sharira is the Vasana Sahita Manah, Prana, Indriya and the Vasanas, they make up the Sukshma Sharira. Sangadasyapi Tat Karana Panchatan matrat, anatarekat. So all of these are reduced to Panchatan matra. The subtle world is also manifestation of the five subtle elements, Panchatan matra. So all the diversity of the subtle world is all reduced to the one similarity or samanya of the universal of the five elements. The Vishesha reduced to samanya. That even the subtle world also is nothing but the manifestation of five subtle elements. They are the common in all subtle names and forms. Tesham sa utpatti krama vaiparityena. Utpatti krama, you know how everything arises from ignorance. So now reverse that process. That's how the Brahma Sutra explains. Reason why the Upanishad describes a prakriya or a sequence of creation is only to help us reduce the whole karya into karana by the reverse order. Therefore, what the order is not important. The order is there. Every Upanishad may present its own order, sequence, to help the aspirant arrive at the source by the reverse order. The cause to describe the order by which the whole effect is created. That Chandogya says there is Sat, and then came the element fire, then from the element water, from element earth, and from that these three colors, and now the three universe of three colors. By reverse order, the whole universe is three colors reduced to the, to the fire, and then to the water, and to the earth, and then to the earth, and then to water, and to fire, and to Sat. So Viparita Kramena. The purpose of describing krama or sequence is this, not scientifically. You may find something scientific, something non-scientific. Different kramas are given in different Upanishads. All cock and bull stories, as Swami would say. But the idea is to help us go back to the source with ourselves. Utpatti krama vaiparityena tat karana sabhasa ajnana matratvena pravilapya. With the subtle world also is reduced to ajnanam. But ajnanam always is a reflection of consciousness. Sabhasa ajnanam. Nothing can ever exist independent of consciousness or Satchidananda. Basically, where ajnanam is, ajnanam will receive the reflection of consciousness. Then from ajnanam, the antahakaram, so that the reflection is, is also followed, inherited. Then different vrittis, they inherited. So that's how consciousness inherited, reflection is inherited. First reflection is in avidya. Then avidya develops into or evolves into different stages. That's how, up to gross body, the consciousness is inherited. Deha chetanamagat. That's how the deha, the gross body, inherits the consciousness of sentiency. So by reverse process, what is the chaya? Chaya hankarayoreikyam taptayah pindamanmatam. The ayah pinda, like that, the chaya and ahankara. From there, the ahankara becomes enlivened by chaya, reflection of consciousness. From there, the buddhi, from there, the manaha, from there, the indriyani, from there, the gross body. Then all of this has gone back to ajnanam. Tat karana savas ajnana matratvena. So original cause is ajnanam. Along with abhasa, so all of this is nothing but ajnanam. By reverse kram, it is reduced to the original cause. Pravilapya avasthanam tadhanam krutadhanam krutat krutva ityartha. So this is how everything is negated or dropped by focusing attention on the primary cause. That kind of subtle drishti we have to develop. That from the ornament, then all that remains in my mind is gold. No more ornament. From gold, nothing but earth. From there, nothing but molecule and atoms. And that is how the ability to focus upon the subtler and subtler and subtler. That's why ekagrata is required. Atha anantaram sushupto bijatmakam ajnanamatram yat urvaritam. So all that remains, urvaritam, all that remains in sushupti is ajnanam. Sushupto bijatmakam ajnanamatram yat urvaritam. In sushupti, bijatmakam, of the nature of cause, ignorance of nature of cause is all that remains in the sushupti. Everything is reduced to that ignorance. Tadapi, even ignorance also, now from ignorance, the attention is withdrawn because ignorance has abhasa, understand. Abhasa is nothing but the sakshi. So from that abhasa, which is drushya, now you now focus attention on the drashta, the sakshi. Why? Because that abhasa is not really there. Tadapi sat asatva bhinna bhinnadi prakara nirupana asahatvat, that is a takara added there. So that ajnana matram also cannot stand inquiry. What is the reality of ignorance? So is it sat? You can't say it is because it is negated, dispelled. Can't say it is non-existent because it is experienced. So that is not really there. When you cannot categorize something, really it is not there. That's what Vedanta said. Sadasatva, sat asatva, or bhinna bhinna. Is it separate from me or non-separate from me? It can't be separate from me because then it cannot exist. Can be non-separate from me because then it becomes real. Thus, sannapya sanna ubhayatmikano, bhinnapya bhinna ubhayatmikano, sangapya nanga ubhayatmikano, mahadbhuta anirvachaniya maya. Viveka Chudamani says. So there was sat, asat, bhinna, bhinna, anga, ananga. None of these can be ascertained with reference to the maya or avidya. Therefore, divanda parikalpita andhakaravata. That ignorance is nothing but parikalpana, like a divanda. What is this light but the one who cannot see during the day, like an owl? Things. So an owl imagines darkness where there is light. The darkness seen by the owl during the day is the darkness superimposed where there is light. So I recognize I am a divanda. I see this ignorance, the superimposition, where in fact there is light of consciousness only. So that ajnanam is divanda parikalpita andhakaravat yat kinchiditi is not really there. Vivekena bhaditva, therefore. Now, earlier the resolving was effect to the cause. The final cause is sabhasam ajnanam. Now there is no cause-effect relationship. There is now adhyaropa adhisthana relationship or mithya satya relationship. Therefore that final thing is bhadit, recognizing that is not really there. It appears but not really there. See that fact. Like the darkness imagined by an owl or divanda. So this ignorance is not there. What is I, the light of consciousness. So this is how from the adhyaropa you come to adhisthana, which is yourself. Atmana sarvavastha sakshitaya anusuyuta chidananda matrasya. Atman of the Atma. Chidananda matrasya. The self is only Chidananda, nothing else. Everything else is now, you have given up identifying with everything else. Things were thought to be an Atma, not because they were, because of giving reality to them. or because of identification with them. So when identification, reality is given up, then recognize that all this is Chidananda Matraham, Anusyuta, that inheres in all of them. Sarvavasthas, in the waking, dream, deep sleep, in all of them I am there as Sakshi, as Adhishthanam. Because the dreamer replaces the waker and sleeper, displaces the dreamer, and serve displaces also the sleeper. Jnana Prakasha Swarupam Unmilya. Seeing yourself as Jnana Prakasha, as Chidananda Matra. Seeing yourself now, opening that eyes, opening your drishti to yourself, and having closed the drishti to everything else in this manner, now opening, recognizing yourself as what you are. Meaning Nirupadikam Krutva, recognize as Nirupadi, devoid of all the Upadi. Because Upadis were mithya, Upadis were superimposition. There was Vyadhikaranam. They were thought to be, all Samadhikaranam was thought to be there. But because they were never there, Trikalepya Bhada, even 3 times this were, 3 kala, they were not there in Atma. Therefore, Nirupadikam Drishtim Krutva, all the drishti about myself. The drishti of myself changes as the drishya keeps on being resolved and resolved and resolved and resolved. Ultimately, my drishti about myself is what? Chidananda Matroham. Sthitah Brahma Prapnoti. That is how he attains Brahma. Satya Jnanadi Lakshanam Brahmayam Bhavati iti. I see that, hey, I am Satyam Jnanandam Brahma, I am. That Chidananda is none other than Brahman. By the Upadesha, because Tvampada and Tatpada are also thought about. Iti Yavada. Brahma Prapnoti, the verse says, Anadvagaha, without the path. Advan means path. And then Advagaha means one who is going on the path. Means a traveler. Anadvaga, without traveling. Without going anywhere, you arrive at Brahman, because it's your own self. Anadvagaha arasiradikam advanam na prapnoti. Now this Brahman is not Brahmaloka. Had it been Brahmaloka, there would have been the Arshiradi Marga. Brahmana Atmatvat na gatya na gati ayata Brahma prapti. Gati ayata, gati adhina. Brahma prapti is not gati adhyana, not dependent upon gati, not dependent upon travel or going anywhere, because it is my very self. There is no apti here, because nitya praptam. So thus the whole process of how one, right now, from the complexes or conclusion I'm entertaining about myself, which arises from the identification, is gross, how it changes, how my drishti about myself changes. Sthuloham, Sukshmaham, Karana Shariroham, and then Satchidananda Matroham. This is how the whole process, that's how the teacher leads the disciple to recognize the true nature of the self. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.